Russ McLaughlin over at Bitmob.com recently ran an article in which he quotes a completely trustworthy industry vet who told him that in a high-level meeting at Sony headquarters, they said the PS4 will happen in 18 months. 1.5 years. Have Sony gone completely batshit bonkers? The weirdest part is that for the majority of that article, Russ is actually making the argument that Sony couldn't possibly launch then, even though his source is completely dependable. McLaughlin is right, and I'm not sure whether the source misinterpreted the 18 months as when SDKs would be available, or when they would unveil it to the public, but that date makes no sense at all as a launch date. In this episode of the Rant is Go, I'm going to cover the 3 major reasons that Sony won't launch in early 2013.
Reason number 1.
The PS3 is just now taking off. After years of price struggles and inferior software, it's poised to really make bank. This generation benefits greatly from the complexity of the hardware in the consoles because new things that can be done with them are being discovered every month. We have yet to hit a point where innovation has stagnated unless your only metric is Call of Duty, and that is definitely the case going forward. This is especially true of the Japanese game development scene, who is just starting to join this generation of hardware in noteworthy force. Kojima Productions has just now finished the Fox engine, their first current-gen multi-platform engine, and many other developers are just getting around to their first or second title this gen. To cut the PS3 off in under 2 years is insane considering the value of the PS3 isn't going to depreciate relative to the market for a while.
Reason number 2.
The PS4, regardless of its graphical superiority to the PS3, will have some real value issues if the gap in quality isn't absolutely massive. We're talking about PS9 shit here, folks. Okay, maybe that's an exaggeration. There could be some massively impressive new way to interface with games via Move and other such attempts, but unless they seamlessly and naturally advance the gaming medium, I don't think anybody's gonna jump on the PlayStation Wii bandwagon. So, launching a PS4 in early 2013, they have the unbeatable situation of needing to outperform the PS3 massively, improving the interface and the very nature of gaming on their platform substantially, and meeting a price point where people will give a shit. One of the most interesting things I've heard Sony talk about in this regard is how they will be able to use high-quality cameras in the future to read the player's body language, and the controller to read pulse and etc., and gather your mood. Present that mood data in an easily read format for developers and you have something truly innovative and interesting for an entire platform to be capable of doing. That is something on par with all that Dreamcast hype of "it's thinking." I digress. Making such thorough systems is by no means easy, and I would be shocked if Sony was able to accomplish such a thing by early 2013. Without such a radical innovation and interesting feature set, that leaves the absolutely massive upgrade in graphical quality and feature set to fill the value gap, and it simply couldn't by that time at a decent price.
Reason number 3.
The Vita is a great extension of the PS3 in a sense, so by releasing a new console in 2013, they will have cut off the PS3's life extension provided by the Vita. That is to say that by having cross-platform features and similar development tools, the Vita is not only easier to develop for and more feature-rich, it inherently extends and enhances the PS3's appeal, like Enzyte does, to penises. Penis aside, the gap between the PS4 and Vita will be so ridiculously massive that there couldn't possibly be a relationship between those two that are on the same scale at all as the PS3 and the Vita. By releasing a PS4 in early 2013, they killed that appeal with the Vita, effectively screwing them out of 2 of their platforms' longevity. Or possibly only 1. Likely only 1. The PS4 would be the odd man out at that point. With high price, low appeal, and small library, the Vita PS3 connection is an awesome ecosystem for both developers and players of games, development tools, and PSN features working across both. By shattering that, they will have ruined something truly unique to the gaming industry. The closest we've ever come to a situation like this was the Game Gear and the Master System relationship, wherein the hardware is identical, basically, so games could be developed for both relatively easily, which is precisely why the Game Gear had a good library despite being the underdog fighting the Game Boy. The PS3 and the Vita will be similar to that, but even better because of the aforementioned features, and the PS3 remaining a relevant console throughout the Vita's life. The Vita's ecosystem, the law of diminishing returns, and the PS3's continuing appeal and value proposition make the PS4 coming out in early 2013 a seemingly massive misstep for Sony. This is the sort of mistake that old Sony would have made back when Ken Kutaragi was running things. With the Vita PS3 connection being so unique and the value of the PS3 just hitting its peak, I'm sure Sony will keep the PS4 in their pants and not whip it out prematurely in early 2013 to a highly confused, unready, and disappointed crowd. Fine, I'm still thinking about the Enzyte analogy. I'm sorry penises are funny.